Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So I first want to begin with the end, meaning at the end of tonight's service, there is a lovely, lovely oneg. I already took a sneak peek, prepared by Gal, and tonight's oneg is in memory of his father, Zichrono Livracha. May his memory always be for a blessing. So I hope everyone will stick around and not only for Kiddush and Motzi next door, but to socialize and to have some of the beautiful food that Gal has prepared in memory of his dad. So now back to the beginning. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, yet again. I don't know about you, but I am like so much is going on in my mind and maybe in yours too. And I know that I could use just a few deep breaths in and out. And Aviv, if you want to do a little strumming, if that feels right to you, go for it. And if not, that's okay too. But let's all just try to breathe in the peace of Shabbat by taking a really deep breath in and holding it. And letting it out. And let's breathe in the rest that Shabbat offers us for our minds and our bodies. With a deep breath in. And let it out. And on this last breath, think about what you want this Shabbat to bring you, and think of that as you take your deep breath in. And let it out. So now let us join together in the singing of Hine Ma Tov, how good it is to be together at this time.
Hine ma tovu manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim, sheverachim gam yachad. I think we have candidates for rabbinical school, Rabbi.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Well, they're just here, they're up here right in time because Michelle is going to light the Shabbat candles for us. So we're going to continue on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'madlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Yay! Yay for Shabbat. I like that. I'll say yay to that. Let's continue in the middle of page 6 responsively. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. So let's continue on page 10 with the singing of Ma Yafeh Hayom, how beautiful is this day.
We'll get to it in a minute. Okay. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat
Shalom. So I just want to say publicly to Gal and Michelle, you know, we're happy that you're here and that your kids are here, and we want them to feel comfortable in this space. And that old adage, children are meant to be seen and not heard, is not something that I go by. I think kids should be seen and heard. And as long as they're safe with the candles, you know, we'll do our best because we want them to feel comfortable, okay? And if at some point you feel like you need to take them out of the sanctuary, okay? But I think that all of us are just happy to see young people in this sanctuary. We're going to continue on page 28, and I invite all who are physically able to rise for the Baruch Hu as we open the Ark.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai. HaMevorach Baruch Adonai. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach le'olam
Yay. Okay. Hey, Hunter, come here. Come here. So now we're going to continue on page 30 with Ma'ariv, Aravim, our blessing for creation. And, you know, even though these days are really super hot, and it's like, oi, the truth is that having the sun come up today is much better than, God forbid, if it didn't. So here we go. Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. So next comes Ahavat Olam, and it's really about God's love for the Jewish people, like this little one, right? And how God gave us the Torah. And we can think about all of the beautiful things that we love about being Jewish, right? Think about whether it's your favorite holiday, or you like latkes, or you enjoy haroset on Passover, or maybe it's decorating the sukkah. There's so many things to love about being Jewish. And Ahavat Olam reminds us that God gave us the Torah out of love.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu u'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha u'mitzvotecha le'olam ba'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam balayla, nege yomam balayla, v'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. I invite all who are able to please rise for Shema Yisrael, the watchword of our faith. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Ha'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Ha'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated as we continue together on page 36 with the chanting of Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha Hayom alavavecha, veshinantam levanecha, vedibarta bam, beshiftecha v'veitecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uv'shochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 39. Let's continue responsively in the middle of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Mi chamocha, the words that we find in the Torah. Tonight we'll find them on page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh velem, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed.
V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov u'ge'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai ga'al Yisrael. So now we are going to continue with Hashkivenu. And this is a song that we have sung before. It's written by Dan Nichols, who's going to be with us later this year. And while the song sheets didn't make it out tonight, I know some people know it, and if not, just feel free to hum along.
You better learn it because it's coming to the service from this end too.
Yahoo. Hashkivenu by Dan Nichols.
shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Eloheinu Shalom. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. Hamidenu Malkeinu
I love those birds. And for the first time, I actually even heard a dog bark. Did anybody else hear the dog barking in the background? I never heard that before, but. So Aviv wants to learn Hashkivenu, and he now has the musical notes, so he's going to listen to it, and we'll be singing along with him when he's ready. So thank you, Aviv, for taking that on. We appreciate it.
Cool tune.
So we're going to rise now for the Amidah, starting on page 46, and we're going to be flipping with and sticking with the even numbered pages.
That my mouth may declare your praise.
So I know we chanted the Kiddushah, the sanctification of God's name, in Hebrew on page 52, and our prayer book is laid out in service 1 that both sides of the pages are the same prayer, whether it's Hebrew, direct translation into English, or a thought that relates to the theme of the prayer. And so if we look on 53, and I know we normally don't do both sides of the page, but there's a reading on page 53 that was in our last prayer book, Gates of Prayer, and I find it to be really, really meaningful. And I'd really love to read it aloud at this time. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. I love this because it talks about days pass and the years vanish, right? Life goes by day after day after day, and we walk sightless among miracles. But there are miracles all around us. There are amazing things and awesome things. And sometimes we're just so busy going through our life that we don't see them. We miss those moments that really are miraculous. Some people I know call them coincidences, right? Other people might call them, like they say, coincidence is a long way of spelling God. And some people feel a miracle is something that God made happen. And that could be one way of looking at it, but there are all kinds of miracles. Seeing people walk with prosthetic devices. I mean, that was unheard of at one time. Or cell phones, if you think about those, right? There's so many things, and I know that it's technology, but there are things that if you really stop and think about how much our great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents could appreciate things that we pretty much take for granted. And then it says, God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, when God's presence is like lightning, right? We all see lightning. We're not going to miss that. And it illumines the darkness in which we walk. We all have dark times. We all have sad times, times when we feel depressed, times when we're not motivated. And this is saying that can we feel God's presence? And like lightning, can it light us up from the inside out? And this is my favorite line of all. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed. Clearly a reference to Moses and the burning bush. And there are burning bushes, even today. Maybe not literally a bush that's burning, but figuratively, there are burning bushes. And again, sometimes we just don't see them. We don't recognize it. Sometimes we need to make space for that spiritual part of our beings to see and connect and feel God's presence. This line I always struggle with, and if anybody has any thoughts, I'd love to hear it. And we, clay touched by God. That might mean the creation story, but the clay I don't fully get. But clay touched by God. But if we talk about touched by God, that we're going to reach out for holiness, right? And that we will be able to say with wonder, how filled with awe is this place? And the way it says in the Torah with Jacob is an I did not know it, right? When Jacob wakes up and he says, how filled with awe is this place? And I did not know it, right? Something happened, right? God was there with him. And I think part of being Jewish, we know, is to wrestle with God, to struggle with God. And even those who believe in God all have moments, all of us have moments, when our faith dwindles, or when we lose faith, or we're unsure about God, or we question God. And the beauty of Judaism is that we are allowed to question. We're not considered bad Jews because we're not sure about God, or we wonder or we doubt. It's part of who we are. And of course, Jacob's name was changed to Yisrael, one who wrestles with God. And the idea here in this passage is to help us find a way to connect with God and with the beauty of this world and those things that we just don't even recognize as being miraculous and wonderful. So I love that passage so much. And now let us join together on the top of page 55, a prayer for all of us. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot. We turn our hearts and our minds now to our prayers for peace. Obviously, prayers for Israel, prayers for the whole Middle East, prayers for the United States of America, and all of God's children around the world.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
At this time, we call to mind our loved ones who are in need of prayers for healing. Our prayers are with Lev Dickerman, Teresa Todd, Jim Todd, Paul Tackett, Al Unger, Beth Haberman, Fran Skoll, Alvin Casson, Glenn Fosnacht, David Rosenberg, Eddie Abraham, Sharon Gould, Evan Gershkovich, Cherry Stuman, Judy Ryback, Chet Borgita, Mel Feinberg, Alan Ehrlich, Andrea Tyson, Ken Kral, Rita Bowles, Ted Worth, Bob Yusman, Bob Kaplan, Bob Title, the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces, the hostages who have been held in Gaza for 259 days, all who are recovering from the physical, emotional, and psychological scars as a result of the October 7th attack, and the victims of the war between Israel and Hamas on both sides of the conflict. If you'd like to add the name of a loved one, please say their names aloud at this time so we can keep them in our prayers.
Macklin.
Our prayer for healing can be found in the middle of page 253.
Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema.
The renewal of body, the renewal
of spirit,
and let us say Amen. We continue now silently with Tefillat Halev, the prayers of our own hearts.
Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
So, see, you have a new fan, Aviv. So there was this blind man, and his name was Yossi. Yossi had a great sense of humor. He was really bright. He was personal. People liked him. He led a full life. his blindness was not something that he was going to let get in the way of his having a meaningful life. And Yossi had a seeing eye dog, whom he loved very much. But as the dog started to get older, his eyesight got worse. And eventually, Yossi's dog could not see. So people assumed Yossi's going to get a new dog, but he didn't. And they would ask, Yossi, when are you going to get a new dog? And he would say, I'm not. This has been my companion for years. This dog will be with me. And finally, people stopped asking, but they were kind of confused, like, how is he going to get around with a dog that can't see? Well, Yossi had a plan. Yossi made a torch that had a flame on top. And when Yossi would go out at night, he would carry his torch. And people thought, why is he carrying this torch? The light isn't going to help him. So finally, one day went up to him and said, Yossi, what's with the torch? This doesn't help you. And he says, as long as I carry this torch, people can see me coming. And they can come to my aid if I'm going to trip or fall. And the man thought, I guess there's some sense to that. Because during the day, Yossi pretty much knew how to get around. But at night, he wanted the torch. But then Yossi continued, he said, but it's not just so people can help me. If I have the torch at night, I can also help people. I can help light their way. Make sure that they don't fall or trip. It's a give and take situation. So why am I talking about Yossi and the light? Because in this week's Torah portion, it begins with a description of the menorah, the seven-branched menorah, which is the oldest symbol of the Jewish people. It's what's on front of this podium and in front of that podium. Different we know from the Chanukiah, which has 9 branches. And it talks about how God commands the Israelites to craft this lampstand from one solid piece of gold, and hence the light. So when you think of the menorah, and you think of Yossi with his torch, what I think about is helping each other. Sometimes my menorah, my light, can light yours. And sometimes yours can light mine. Each of us has times when we are feeling really motivated, invigorated, on top of the world. We're accomplishing so much. Life just feels so good on so many levels. Our families are healthy. Things are great. And our menorahs are shining bright. And sometimes we know that we're having a harder time and we're struggling more. And those are the times that we can take our menorah and light someone else's to help bring more light and more brightness into their life. And that's a lot, I think, of what a synagogue is about. Because a synagogue is about much more than sitting in the sanctuary and praying, or gathering for a meal in the auditorium, or being in any other part of the building. It's really about being there for each other, sharing our light together. And of course, when someone doesn't have much light, as I already said, we can help bring more light to them. It's about caring about others. It's about supporting others. It's about kindness and compassion. We know one thing we do really well is when someone is in, it's usually if there's an accident or surgery or a death, right? Lori many times has set up a meal train, and we're really good at providing meals for people and being there, right? To filling their menorah with more light. But there are other times when we can also be there for each other. It doesn't have to be as big or as tragic or as, only the painful times. And there are times that we can come here because we know that we will be met by people who care about us, people that are part of our community, our temple family, that might come to us and say, hey, are you okay? You look kind of sad today, or I don't know, something seems off. Or whatever it is, to be there to support others. We have the menorah, which is a symbol of light. We have Shabbat candlesticks, which is light. We have the Ner Tamid, which is light. And it talks about in the Torah that we should be an Or Lagoyim, right? A light to the nations. So the idea is that each of us, the level of our light waxes and wanes. But none of us are going to have our menorahs all out at the same time. There's always someone that we can get a light from, or there's always someone that we can give a light to. And that's a lot about being part of a synagogue, being part of a temple family. And in the words of Peter, Paul, and Mary, don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let, I'll say, the menorah go out. Let it shine through our Temple Shalom love and even our Temple Shalom tears. Shabbat Shalom. Couple announcements. We will be here tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. for Shabbat services. This Sunday morning, as a reminder, if you are in town, please join us. I want to give a big shout out to John Saletto, who has arranged and organized for a really lovely spread on Sunday morning. Unfortunately, he won't be here to benefit from the fruits of his labor. He has a prior commitment, but he'll take a to-go bag and eat on his way. But thank you, John, seriously. We always appreciate how much you put into your temple family. And then, of course, the meeting starts at 11 a.m. And again, if you are in town, even if you handed in your proxy ballot, it's never too late to take it back and vote while you're here. July 6th is our next annual cleanup. It's a river at a restaurant. So please RSVP to Mark. And if you RSVP in time, you will be able to get the $10 towards lunch after the meal. I am leaving on Sunday. I'm heading up to Gucci straight from the annual meeting, and I'm really excited. Our 6 campers up there look like they're having a great time. Pictures come every day. Yesterday was what they call Yom Sport, a day of sport. Some camps call it Maccabia or Color War. But the green team won. So I know Noah happened to be on the green team, and so was Riley Hurt. So we had two, I only saw 2 from the green team from Temple Shalom, but they all looked like they had a blast. So I'm really looking forward to being with them and whatnot. And then just a reminder that next week is July 5th and 6th. No, 2 weeks time, 2 weeks time. We're going to be on Zoom for an abbreviated services during the 4th of July extended weekend. So Aviv will be leading Friday night, Zoom, Rich will be leading Zoom, running Zoom, and Sheila will be leading Shabbat morning, and Rich will be doing Zoom. And so the links will be sent out in next week's email blast. Aviv, thank you so much for leading us some music. Lori, thanks again for streaming. And Gal, thank you very much for sponsoring tonight's oneg, and may your father's memory always be for a blessing. Let us continue in the middle of 282 as we rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Please be seated.
We've done this song before we do Kaddish. Mississippi Fred McDowell's You Got to Move. You got to move, you got to move, you got to move, child, you might be moved, but when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You might be rich, you might be poor, you might be high, child, you might be low. when the Lord gets ready. Well, you got to move. You've got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You see that person, they're walking the street. See the policeman, he's walking his beat. But when the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready, well, you got to move.
If you are here to recite Kaddish for a loved one, you're invited to rise when their name is read aloud. Tonight, we remember Alexander Cohen, Jane Album Glazer, Evelyn Levine, Lillian Pass, Alex M. Penner, Elsie Weiner. We're in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Shlomo ben Henry. Hostages, Amiran Cooper, Yoram Metzger, Chaim Perry, Nadav Popplewell, and Chief Inspector Arnon Zamora, who gave his life while freeing 3 hostages from captivity in Gaza. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and may they rest in peace as we rise together as a congregation, praising God's holy name with the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayeichon uvyomeichon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kari v'yimeru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'ami Iran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimiru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimiru. Amen. Please be seated. Our concluding song this evening is Bim Bam, and we'll follow along with Aviv.
Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Turn to someone near you and wish them Shabbat Shalom.